This is Vibe Science, a top 100 wellness podcast presented by the Radcast Network, breaking wellness barriers and making health truly personal. Here are your hosts, Ryan Alford and Chris Hansen.
Hello, and welcome to Vibe Science. Hey, it's all about good vibes here. Chris Hansen, what's up, brother?
Vibing, bro. Keeping them high, you know.
Keeping those high vibes. And that's what it's about today.
High vibes.
High vibes. High vibes with Kye Dailey.
Yes,
what's up, Kye?
How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Hey, we've already had fun. You know, the audience doesn't know it, but, you know, pre-episode, you know what? It's going to be a good episode when we're just, you know, jiving. The vibes are right in the pre-episode. Yeah. Kye is a hypnotherapist, and we're ready for our daily dose. I had to get it in one way or another.
Ready.
I know. Yes. What's up, Kye? How's life?
Life is good. I'm in Miami Beach. What is there to complain about? Honestly, we live in paradise. Where are you, Ryan?
We're at South Carolina, the beautiful Greenville.
Wow.
Condé Nast, number 3 fastest growing U.S. small cities. So
cool.
It's a beautiful place. Nice. It's a great place to raise a family, and great little economy going on. And so all the Californians are moving here.
Oh, nice. We like a boost in the economy, that's for sure.
Yes. It may not be as trendy as Miami, but it's still, it's pretty happening. It's pretty happening.
Cool.
For what it is. Kye, tell us about yourself. Let's set the table for everyone. Let's start with our first dose. One day at a time.
One day at a time, guys. I mean, wow, where do I begin? I'll just give you the cliff notes. It was a wild ride. I definitely started out the gate pretty energetic towards everything bad. You name it, if it was bad, I got my hands into it, you know? And when I got clean and sober 10 years ago, it wasn't cool. Like, it wasn't trendy. It wasn't this like, oh my God, can't wait to get sober vibe. I came to Miami Beach from living in New York City, and it just became home instantly. And if you think that you can't get well in Miami, I am proof that you can. There's a huge spiritual community here. We're all working together. And I'm just so grateful that you guys connected with me. And I can't wait to share about the hypnosis and the journey. It's all good.
It's interesting. When you hear hypnosis, like your mind goes to a certain place, and if Chris is the lover of the two of us, I'm the cynic.
I love
it. I'm always like, what are we doing here? But then I watched your content, your video. I'm like, I really thought you were authentic, and I like really, jived with you. But I'm like, I still got to know, like, why hypnosis, and how did that enter the fray for you, Kye?
I was living, I moved to Miami Beach about 11, 12 years ago on a relapse from drugs and alcohol. I had dabbled a little bit in AA and tried to put it down myself. And as we know, it's definitely, we need others to help us through the journey. And I very quickly got sober here in Miami and found a great, place to really just kind of pour it out and just have the community support here. And then I very quickly moved to Montreal half of the year for a relationship. And I got to go to hypnosis school. I just happened to get, picked up and didn't have to work all of a sudden for like 6 months. And I was like, wow, what am I going to do with my time? I'm sober now. Let's try to pivot and do everything wellness I can. So I started doing yoga, meditation, like any good addict. I just threw myself into everything good. And I found a hypnosis school that actually was like a national school for clinical hypnosis, which means I can go into doctor's offices, and I've worked with cancer patients at Mount Sinai, like just amazing, amazing things. And quite honestly, I knew nothing about it. I had never heard of a hypnotist. It just was like something that kind of chose me. And then very quickly into the schooling did I realize it's just meditation. It literally is just somebody guiding you into a guided state of meditation. So your subconscious acts as a sponge, and then we can put in some wonderful positive affirmations so you can have like the most abundant lifestyle, just high vibrational, subconscious working all day long.
So I'm gonna get real specific because Kye, we're going at it here. Like not it's more to, I like to understand. I'm an entrepreneur. We're highly curious. Chris and I both are. It's like what makes us so. When you say it's like guided meditation, I mean, people listening, and we have a blend of people that probably like, they know way more than us even about this stuff, and then we have the blend of people that are kind of new to health and wellness that are like, exploring the alternative wellness side, and so it's like, what is the difference between like what we have seen and been trained to believe, like, okay, I'm out, like, the snapping of the fingers, and like I am truly kind of unaware of my definitive surrounding. Is that real or not real?
So you never specifically out in hypnosis. Yet another kind of, and what I want to tap into is like all the there's a little bug, all these little misconceptions that kind of circle hypnosis, because there's stage hypnosis, right, in Las Vegas, where you have like the magicians and all this like crazy stuff, and there's chickens and, funny comedic stuff. So I think most of the US is attaching to that narrative of what they've been exposed to as hypnosis. When I say hypnosis is just a guided meditation, it means that place right before you fall asleep, like when you're in that meditated state and you're almost detached from your body, you're detached from your thoughts, detached from any physical, real sensation, you're just about to fall asleep. And that's what I guide you into. So like if you go onto YouTube and you type in hypnosis or meditation, you often get those kind of like calming melodies. And then you hear somebody come in and say, the deeper and deeper you go, let go, relax. And we're just trying to get you to relax so you can detach from the thinking. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's probably the best that it's been explained to me. So we're getting we're getting that daily dose already. We might get the multi-daily dose. I like it.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
So I'm partially awake, partially asleep. I'm in this like, I love thinking about it like in that mental state. Like I'm kind of like getting myself there, like talking about like where you kind of let go. Because I think ultimately isn't that kind of what it's about? Like the whole premise of all this is like you got to be in. It's both letting go, but then being in a state of reception, like where you can receive new programming, new messaging, etc. Isn't that what we're talking about?
Exactly. You got it. Because in the process of anything you're trying to let go, anything, you can use hypnosis literally for anything, like any addiction, even a relationship addiction, if you're attached to a toxic person, it's endless what you can use hypnosis as a tool for. And it really is just the process of surrender, which we call in hypnosis letting go, or we use words as deeper and deeper. The more deep you go, the more you let go. And we repeat. So when we're repeating, it's really setting it into the body as like a memory. So every time I say let go, you notice the shoulders aren't in your ears anymore, and you let go and you start to relax. And then obviously my verbiage gets a little bit slower. So you really start to get into the trance of it all, which is really cool.
What were the, when you obviously are working with people now and doing these things, like, is it as direct as you would think? Like if you're trying to get someone to let go of bad habits or bad thoughts, walk us through like that experience with someone and like how you're guiding them?
Okay, great question. So basically hypnosis and hypnotherapy it's combined, right? So each patient is evaluated before, just like any talk therapy, just like any therapist you go to, you sit down in my office, we go through a whole questionnaire, we go through, everything's confidential. So it's very much like therapy. But the hypnosis part of the therapy is actually the guided meditation, what I'm talking about. So once we start with the talk therapy and we find out, okay, what is the root of the trouble? Because I'm very, very good, I would say, at getting to the root really quick and pulling it out of them, because we want to get them as honest as they can be, because I don't want to waste anyone's time and I don't want to waste their money. I'm not into like, oh, this is, a get rich quick type of thing. No, this is like real work. And I want to give them the ultimate truth, right? Because if they're coming to me, they're ready for it. If they really want to let go of a bad habit, what do we have to do? We've got to admit it. We've got to see the truth in it. And then I just act as a mirror to them that this is capable, that they are capable, that they don't have to do this alone, So that's kind of how it starts.
Chris, have you had any experience with this? I mean, I know, you've been through sobriety and you've been through like counseling and things like that, but like, what's your, and Chris is also a counselor for me. So, it's like, he's been on all sides of it, but Chris, what's been your experience here?
So I've never been properly hypnotized. I've seen it. First time I saw it that I believed in it was in college at the fraternity house, honestly. One of the guys knew how to hypnotize people. And I watched him hypnotize 3 guys. So I was like, damn, like this is legit.
Yeah.
But I've never explored it. Like I said earlier on the show, I've met another guy down here. He's a solid dude. I'd consider him a friend, that he's a hypnotist, and he kind of started educating me on it. But no, I'm sitting here like, all right, I'm just going to shoot Kye a message later and like book an appointment.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was
see
never,
how it works.
it was never anything that because I'd heard people like, in treatment and whatnot talk about it for like getting sober. But I think it's one of those things too. My brain wasn't capable of comprehending it a few years ago. I just wasn't open to it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm intrigued by it. Me, I'm into all this alternative stuff.
No, that's a really good key point you just made, is you weren't open to it. And with anything that I do, as I don't, how do I say this? I don't consider myself a healer or a guru or anything like that. I actually turn away from that kind of like verbiage, because all I'm doing for you is showing you that it's possible for you to want healing. I act as somebody's just support, like I'm holding space for them. Obviously, we're trained professionals and all that, but it's more about relationship and trust, because you want to be able to trust the person that you're going to let go with, and you don't want that trust violated. So, and just as in yoga, I also teach yoga. Yoga's all about heart opening, letting go, being open, understanding that we are all one. These types of tools really help with the hypnosis, because it opens up the space for you to allow the messages to come in. Because if people are resistant, it's not going to work, Yeah.
What are the most common people or problems, that you're, combination about, like, what are you seeing most of it? Is it addiction? What are those things that you're kind of working through with people?
So, yeah, like I said, there's such I've done things that are like shocking. What people come to me for hypnosis, we can like talk about that another time, like the comedy hour about hypnosis, because it is hysterical. But
so like the fetishes or something, like, that could be kind of interesting if we want to go down that road.
My practice is in Miami Beach.
I was going to say.
I'm very open to all walks of life. So I'm definitely humbled by some of the interactions, but I would say if I had to pick top 5, it's definitely nicotine is number 1. Nicotine the vaping. Listen, I don't shame anybody. I've tried it. I've had my own, problems with vaping or nicotine. Because I've done it all, I think it's given me a lot of grace on myself and therefore on others, and I don't shame anybody for their addictions, but I definitely think hypnosis is number 1 known for the nicotine. Drugs, alcohol, porn addiction, sex addiction, phobia, any type of phobia, body dysmorphia, anorexia, bulimia. The list is endless. It really is.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Is it like traditional talk therapy where I'm coming every week for 6 weeks or? Okay.
Yeah. I always say try 2 sessions. Whether you want to do 1 week and 2 weeks out, it doesn't matter. I always say give it 2 sessions like you would give any therapy. But I do get a lot of like, can you do it first time out the bat? I want to get rid of this. I'm tired of it. And I've had people like who are really determined, and that determination to get rid of whatever the addiction or phobia is just like magic. And I've also turned away people too, because they're not ready. Yeah. So I don't want to, exploit them or take their money if they're not ready.
Well, it's a waste of your time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the first step with anything. Because I think about even like someone with addiction, for example, like if someone tried to take me to a hypnotist to be like, all right, Chris, we're going to hypnotize you to stop this. If I was like, nah, I'm good. Nah. Of course it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. As you know, I think the 2 best tricks or tools or things I can give the viewers is desperation and gratitude.
Yeah.
When you have to let go of anything that because we have to face the fact we like stuff that's not good for us. We like it. And it's okay, because I think there's a lot of black and white thinking out there. It's always like, oh, I'm either good and I'm super good and I became like a freaking nun, or like I was bad and I was super bad. Yep. There's gray zones. And that's another thing that hypnosis helps you with, is going easy on yourself. We don't shame anymore. Like I said, if you smoked that cigarette and you were so, it's okay. You're not going to, we have to just go easy on ourselves.
What's up, guys? Ryan and Chris here. I want to talk to you about Apollo, our official partnership with the wearable. And look, we talk about it all the time. The research is out, guys. There's no hiding. Sleep is one of the most important things to your overall health and wellness. And that's why we love what we're seeing from Apollo. I'm using it. Chris has been an advocate for over 3 years. Talk about it, Chris. I know it's been helping with your sleep.
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked. The Apollo wearable device, I've been using this for 3 years. Anyone that knows me knows it's on my ankle or wrist all the time, including in my bed, which may seem a little odd that I sleep with this, but they've got all these different modes. Sleep mode kind of eases your body, eases your mind in that relaxed state. It helps you kind of calm that nervous system where you're hacking your brain in a way. But I'll tell you what, you can even set it on a schedule where it'll ease you into sleep. Then you can set it 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It'll gently wake you up. All of a sudden, it's vibrating faster. It's pulsing faster. It's sending this frequency through your body, alerting your nervous system, time to wake up. So tons of uses. You can set it where it's easy to work for you. Set your schedule through the day, energy, social, sleep, calm, meditate, anything you want. There's a different mode for.
Look, ApolloNeuro.com, 15% off. Use Vibe Science, VIBE Science. This is a great deal with a great partner that's leading innovations. You won't believe the data. You won't believe the results, just like Chris. We'll see you soon. Kye, I find it always interesting to ask someone like you that, you've gone through, rehab. You're sober. You're doing hypnotism or hypnotherapist. Sorry if I'm classifying it wrong. But you're hypnotizing people. You're doing therapy with people. You're a professional. like, what are some of your daily like wellness routines? I think people like to hear that because obviously you've been through all these things, but now you're sort of at the cutting, edge of alternative wellness and all this. So I always like to pick people's brain to see, what else is out there and what you're using daily or some of your own therapies.
Yeah. Thanks for asking that. I'm not anonymous about my recovery. I am in AA. I've been in AA for what seems like 100 years. I'm like, some days I'm like, I can't believe I'm still freaking here, man. But I'm definitely a person who needed that group. I needed the power because the one thing we do when we're, addicted to anything is they keep pushing down your throat, I wish I got to go to rehab. I was begging my parents since I'm 15 to go to rehab, and they're like, oh, you're just dramatic. So I had to go another 15 years of using and then finally find AA, because sometimes your outsides doesn't match your insides. And we've got to be so mindful of this with mental health, because a lot of people are putting on a pretty face and a pretty smile, and they're faking it till they make it. And I hate that saying. I hate it because it teaches us to detach from the truth. Because the truth is, sobriety and this clean lifestyle, it may look shiny now, but it's pretty rough. It's not something that doesn't come with a lot of pain. And that's in that desperation that you seek hope. It's just wild. It's a wild ride because you really have to get into some pain to make a change. Because like Chris just touched on, if somebody came to him and was like, you're doing this, and he wasn't ready and he wasn't in enough pain, he's not doing it. You really have to make peace with that pain in order to push forward. And every morning I'm humbled, man. I still get on my knees. I'm a big God person. I'm not religious, but I'm a big God person. I don't care what religion you are. You just got to tap into some source. I need a source. And just as I would plug in my phone or my computer, I need to plug in immediately. So when my eyes open, it's always thank you, God, for another day sober and clean. Keep me useful to everybody else. I literally do a roll out the bed because that's the only way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to get on my knees on my own, and that's just the truth. I have to do the things that make me uncomfortable and that I don't want to do. And then it goes into, a whole seance. The sage is coming out, the music, the meditation books. I have a daily routine that takes a while. And
it sounds like a morning. Yeah.
It's a morning, and I really, really value it. And I set time for it. And I have to, because I can't be doing energy exchange work if I'm not filled up. It's pulling from an empty cup. So, I go into my meditation. I do my yoga practice. I do everything that I preach, basically. And then I can start my day.
How about on the supplement side? Are we a supplement person?
I am not.
Okay.
Which I'm super interested in supplements.
Well,
because
it was not a sales tactic. It was more just curiosity. No. If you're okay, I have my cuckoo juice, my
chai tea, matcha,
whatever it is, all that stuff. No.
I am open to receive any, messages about supplements because I haven't dabbled in it. I really haven't.
Yeah. That's unique. It seems like every, person that I know kind of in this space seems to, have the 47 pills they take in the morning. Vitamins.
That might just be you and me, bro.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, most people we have on, Chris,
I think,
are big into that. Yeah.
At least fish oil. You're not taking fish oil or anything, Kye?
I swear to you, I am that weird girl who loves to go to the jungle. And I truly, I bike everywhere. I'm sun surf. I am that.
How weird and healthy.
I know. Weird, I love it. Yeah.
How naturally
just
weird.
Healthy on the natural,
it's awesome.
what the earth provides. It's very bizarre. People think I'm,
What about diet? Are you vegan or anything?
So, I have a funny story about veganism. I used to be, the vegan, and I used to be super hyper aware of what was going into my body. And then a few years ago, I got sick. and I had like no iron in my blood. Like it was pretty rough. I had like black circles, and I'm in my 40s now. So I have to be like understanding that the body changes, and to stop with this whole like shaming of the meat thing. And then I just switched to intuitive eating. Like I listen to my body. Yeah. Literally, I listen to my body and I eat. You know, if I need that chocolate some nights, I need it. I don't go into food shaming, you know?
Yeah. I need those gummy bears, baby. I get them.
I get them. I'm like a fan of that. Trust me.
Yeah. I had a lemon square for lunch. I mean, before I had lunch.
Amen.
So, you know, and a strawberry icy. So like, ooh. I mean, it was like before even lunch. I mean, I was just
that's South Carolina for you.
Sometimes you just gotta listen to what you crave.
Here, they're like, I had a frozen matcha this morning and Nutella croissant. And you're like, I had a strawberry slushy and a lemon tart.
It was at a really frou-frou place, by the way. It was not at the QT.
I'm not hating. I love Greenville, bro.
But I was like, I feel like a 7-year-old. I was with my team having lunch, and I'm like, everybody's waiting for their food, and I'm waiting for my food. But there was a place that had dessert, so I got an icy and a lemon bar. So
good.
Appetizers.
Enjoy. Listen, we live once. We got to have fun.
Intuitive eating, bro.
Everything in moderation, including moderation. That's
yeah. Once I start obsessing, I know I'm in the wrong place. You know?
I know. So is there a whole, when I think of like hypnotherapy, I mean, you think of, again, we're so conditioned. We just think of the moment where we're kind of
Jerry Springer.
Yeah, Jerry Springer, Phil Donahue, if you're old enough to remember, whatever it might be. Oprah, I don't know. Yeah, Dr. Phil. But the meditation portion, is what you think of. But is there, I would assume there's probably more to the therapy than just that moment. Maybe talk us through the whole process.
Yeah, so the whole process, like I said, was, the talk therapy part of the first part. I would say let's say you're doing a 60-minute session and it's your first time coming.
Yep.
Like I said, we get into the evaluation part, but I'm using, I would say I'm using my intuition just because of my past experiences. From my background where I trained, I got to live in India. I got to really dive deep into spirituality and really develop my intuition, because we all have intuition. It's just that it isn't so much developed. It's almost like when you eat chicken, you're going to want to really season that because it's going to be bland as hell and you're going to not be satisfied. The same thing with spirituality and anything good for you. You want to really dive deep into it. And that's what I did. So with the talk therapy, I dive deep pretty quick because I believe that there's no time to waste. If you're really ready to make a change and immediately you have a connection with me, because I think I'm an easy person to connect with. I loved how you use the word authentic, because this to me really shines through. No matter what somebody's saying to you, always tap into the vibration behind their words, because the frequency behind their verbiage is what's authentic. It's not so much about this and quoting books and all this stuff. It's more about that heart, the soul coming through them and speaking through them. And then you can easily let go and you can easily relax because you know that this person is relatable. Like they're relating to you. And that's what relationships are. It's relating to one another. So I really like to stay in that frequency before we go to the meditation part of the hypnosis. Because again, that's already relaxing them. It's already making them feel safe, because safety is another big issue, like I don't discriminate with if you're an active drug user and you come to my office, like it doesn't bother me. Like if I feel safe in my energy, I'm going to feel safe in somebody else's energy. And that's a huge part of therapy. And what I really hope comes through with hypnosis, because again, those misconceptions about it is like wild, but does that touch on that?
Yeah,
Or
it does.
okay.
And it makes me go, all right, you've had to have seen now, having done this for a while, some transformations. Talk to us about, obviously not naming names, but just
Yeah.
some of the transformations you've seen and how impactful it's been.
So recently, one of the most, I'll just speak from, let's say this year, because it's been a while I'm doing this. But recently, I would say the theme of 2024, because it's been a pretty gnarly year for people. I don't know about you guys, but it's a lot of digging, like a lot of excavating process. Even my street, it's so crazy. When you get aligned with the universe, the synchronicities and the signs it's almost too intense. So I know why people don't dive too deep sometimes. But even my street is completely ripped apart. Like you can't it's just wild. And that's really what the theme for me and my patients has been in 2024 is these tiny, small wins. And this for me is huge. It's like the most profound healing I can say, because it means that my patients are going easy on themselves. It means that they're not in that shame spiral and they're not in that black and white thinking. They're just like, you know what? It is what it is. I kind of effed up my whole life. I have a great sense of humor about that because so did I. And, we're just going in these small wins, like these, hey, did you do your manageability checklist today? You'd be shocked to see what it feels like to check something off. You're like, oh, I did it. I paid the internet and I put it off for a month. Like these little things that we don't think about, these are the small wins that add up to self-esteeming lives,
Yeah.
So I would say that.
Yeah.
That reminds me of just something in treatment. It was always make your bed. Like that was the first simple win of the day, or get on your knees and pray, right? Like that's the smallest little win of accomplishment. You can reward yourself.
Yeah. Because we like rewards. We love it.
I love it.
I do.
That's why a sticker and pat on the back.
That's why I spend a lot of time at Dave and Buster's. But
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I like to win those tickets.
I love to win. I give myself I don't know. I'm always in that winning.
Yes, I know. It's like sometimes you get in the deep end though. Yeah, you're giving yourself too many gifts. But I know it's like that slippery slope. And then I need to be hypnotized. No more slushies. No. Because I would imagine when you think about, we all have so many bad habits. I have more than I could keep up with. It's like from weight loss and everything else. I was imagine you deal with that maybe even a lot. That's got to be a big one.
Yeah. The food addiction is like any addiction. When something's so accessible, it's, we need food. We have to eat. It's one of those things. And often when you let go of one addiction, like say you're an alcoholic, right? That just metabolizes as sugar. So basically you're just a sugar addict. And I don't know about any other alcoholic, but I know for me, I used to love the sugar when I was a kid before I picked up the drink. So I picked up the drink at 13 and then all of a sudden I didn't eat sugar anymore. I was drinking. The last thing on earth I wanted to do as a teenager in my 20s was eat while I was drinking. I wanted to drink. I wanted to get to the end goal, which was to be removed from the planet. So I have to understand that most people and myself are sugar addicted. And that's really your first addiction coming out the gate. So we go way back. And that's another part of the talk therapy and getting to the root is when did the addiction start? And they're like, well, what do you mean? When I was a kid, I wasn't. And I was like, no. I need to get to the root to understand were you sugar addicted by 5? Simple stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's, getting to the root like that. It just made me think because you can easily go down the wrong path, right? With someone, right? You think you're trying to remove this issue, but if you don't really get underneath it, you
gotta get out.
Right?
The weed will grow back.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's it sounds so silly, but it's like all these visuals really help with healing. Like you got to pluck the hair out. Like you can't just pluck half of it. It's going to be spiky. It's going to hurt eventually. You got to get that shit at the root and pull it out, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I get off.
No,
crazy.
but it makes sense. These analogies, like I'm a big analogy guy because like I think like it's like, you know, we're not putting makeup on here. We're not trying to cover. We're not trying to cover something up. I mean, that's not productive.
No, and I think that's again the theme of 2024. All these cover-ups, people are being exposed. Like, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, because that's like another big mirror this year.
Where's it all headed for you, Kye? I mean, what's the future hold? Like, you know, like it's ambitions and all the above, you know?
I think for me is just trusting my gut, you know? That gut health is so important. We didn't really tap to, I can go on a whole nother topic about gut health.
Yeah.
But just showing people, like, you know, I said before about this intuition, and I always use the gut health and your gut feelings and all these things, is really being able to trust yourself as your own compass, you know, your own navigation system, because so easily we get distracted or we'll get into like a codependent relationship or something will always knock us off course. And the true people in your life are going to bring you up. They really are. You're going to feel high from them. You're not going to feel depleted. You're not going to feel like, oh, they're competing with you or they're not happy for your wins. So I would say, yeah, my future is just connecting with high vibrational people, really working together as a whole to try to change the vibration of this planet. It's pretty sick right now, you know?
Are you working, where can everybody find out about you? I mean, is it all in person? Is it online? You know, to be coaching?
Yeah.
Like, how are all the ways people can work with Kye?
Yep, I do both. I have a website. You can, you know, email me. I love to get on the phone and do consults right away. It's got my phone number. I'm kind of old school like that. My Instagram. I do a lot of Zoom because I have patients all over, obviously, and people who are in Miami. I have a practice here in Miami Beach. I love, you know, in person if you're here in Miami, because I can do some Reiki. Every patient's different. So you get a whole different feel in person. But the Zoom is great too.
I got to come down to Miami and I got to get in person, like you know, I think you might have to have me in person to get me there. Like, even though I'm a believer now, and like I think I'm there, like mentally ready. I still think I might be a tough cookie. I don't know. Like I need to get really, I don't know, sunk in. But
he's got to feel super safe.
I got to feel super safe.
You're safe. You're safe.
I identify with that.
Yeah. Kye, you've been great. We really enjoy your energy, your vibe. And it definitely aligns with ours. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Where can everybody find your info? Like maybe the handles, website, address, etc.
Yeah. So my IG handle is the Dailey, and then _ at the end, but Dailey is DAILEY because it's my last name. And then I always post reels and ways to contact me. It also has a link to my website, which is Miami Beach Hypnotherapy _.com. And yeah, I mean, I keep it pretty simple, and I just trust the universe and I really appreciate you guys and opening up this relationship too as well.
Awesome. Sure. Thank you so much. You guys know where to find us, vibescience.media. You'll find all of the episode information from today, links to Kye's information, and where you can always find Chris and I. We're always active on Instagram, Chris Roby Hansen and at Ryan Alford. Thank you so much, Kye, for being on today.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next time on Vibe Science. The content discussed on this show is provided for reference and educational purposes. The content is not an attempt to practice medicine or provide specific medical advice. always consult your personal physician for medical advice and proper diagnosis.
Thanks for listening. This is Vibe Science. To learn more or watch full episodes, visit vibesciencepodcast.com. Here's to discovering your highest vibe